He's getting it back, and I'll send you.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Modern Matrimony. Once again, my sincerest apologies for any technical difficulties that you've experienced because of our delay. And very happy to have you here. I'm really excited about today's conversation, so we had to make this happen. Modern Matrimony is a place where we've created a safe environment for you to have conversations about taboo topics surrounding money and relationships, because it's really important when you're building and maintaining generational wealth, because what good is that whole journey if you can't spend it with the person you love most? And we've been blessed to have some really interesting conversations here. We've talked about what to do for better or for worse. We've talked about what to do in sickness and in health. Sorry, not in sickness and in health, but for richer or for poorer. Today, we're going to discuss what to do in sickness and health, because that's the conversation nobody really wants to have. It's all fine and dandy when you're walking down the aisle and they're playing your theme music. When you're in your honeymoon phase, everything's great. But what about when you're looking at the person that you love most and they may not be there tomorrow? You made a promise to them. Are you going to be able to stand by your vows at that point in time? And it's not an easy discussion to have. It's not something that they talk to you about in school. Sometimes in church they may or may not, but most of the time you don't really have a place where you can go to really vent and ask the questions you want to ask. Today, this is what we're going to offer you. And just a few rules of housekeeping before we get started. Everyone's welcome. I know that this is titled Modern Matrimony, but it doesn't matter what your relationship situation is. Married, divorced, single, it's cuffing season, whatever your situation is, you're welcome here. We want you to learn something. We want you to take away something that makes your personal life better. And the second thing is, this is not a typical podcast. I'm not here to just talk at you all. I want your interaction. I need your interaction. Ask questions, make jokes, meet somebody in the chat. If you're single in here, go ahead and put your relationship status and where you are and your age. I hope you walk away with something positive. Let me put it that way. But I'm really happy to bring on this couple today. They have been immensely important for my wife and I, and just building out our journey. And I am very excited to share them with you. They're our honorary aunt and uncle. They've been immensely successful as individuals, but together they just dominate. Regardless of the circumstance, whatever the trial or tribulation, they get through it together. And I couldn't be more proud. I couldn't think of a better couple to bring on for today. And so without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring to you Doctors Phillip Thompson Esquire and Dr. Tanja Thompson. There we go. Y'all young people gonna have to show me how to work this thing. How are you? But give me 1 second. I can hear you on another device, but I want to hear you here. All right. Can y'all hear me? All right. So before we get started, I always like to make sure the audience knows that they're not talking to just a bunch of randoms. So, and I know you all are super humble, super private people, but for just for a few minutes, if you don't mind, let these people know who they're talking to.
Well, I guess I'll go first. So, as you mentioned, I'm Dr. Tanja Thompson, and Philip is married to me. I am the better half.
We know.
Yours.
So tell us a little bit about your background, Dr. Thompson.
Oh, that's a lot. That's a lot. So, born and raised in Fort Worth, Indiana. Went to the military. Did 25 years in the military, and retired as a senior master sergeant, and got my doctorate probably about 2 years ago in healthcare administration. And I work in the federal government, and I am loving life right now.
Love to hear that. All right. And who's this gentleman next to you, and where'd you find him?
Listen, big in here.
So I'm a little bit better. I'm a little bit better at bragging about her. She forgot to tell you about her 2 master's degrees, and numerous certifications and everything else. So my wife has been in school for, we've known each other 34 years, so probably about 32 years.
Room. Door.
All right. She's a TEDx speaker a few times over too, isn't she?
You know a lot then. Yes, so TEDx speaker as well as a TEDx curator, where I have curated at least 2 different TEDx speakers. And I would definitely say that is like my claim to fame. I truly love just really transforming individuals, their story, so that when they stand on that stage, they stand with confidence, they stand with professionalism, and they are really able to shine. Because a lot of times we don't have the door. So my goal is always to create doors for people like us to be able to get on that TEDx stage.
I love that. And thank you for taking off your humility for just a few minutes. Because I knew you was going to do that and undersell yourself. Thank you, Uncle Phil. We appreciate you. All right. And I know you said he's married to you, but we're not just going to treat him like he's some random off the street. Phil, tell him who you are. Tell him all the things you've done.
So I'm St. Louis, born and bred. So that means I like catfish. Getting with my catfish and spa. It's the case Midwestern. Got connected to Chicago with my mother, but I took the St. Louis. I am a graduate of Southern Illinois University of Carbondale and Washington University School of Law in St. Louis. I've been a military officer, Marine officer, JAG officer. I've been a federal government attorney. I've been a private sector attorney for quite a few years. I've done a little bit of everything and a lot of something. So you name it, litigation, contracts, employment law, criminal law, you name it, I've done it in one thing or another. And now I'm just trying to finish out the string and continue to be her.
You've been a little too humble too today, Phil.
Yeah, I've dabbled in NAACP. I've been NAACP president of my county. I've been a state board member in NAACP. I've been a state board member in ACLU. I've probably
Family.
every
Room.
in the
Door.
country except for Supreme Court, but I've done Supreme Court briefs. So I've done, like I said, I've done quite a bit. But after a while, it gets to be redundant, and you try to focus on what you've done or what you're getting ready to do more than looking back.
And he failed to mention that he has probably been on every news family outlet here in Washington, D.C. area. So if you ever want to look up Phillip E. Thompson, you will see a whole litany of his time that he's been on the news, articles, and I tell you what, you do not want him on your bad side because he is a phenomenal writer, and he will write a letter in a minute. And best believe when he comes for you, he's coming for you with all parents.
That's very true. I've seen him on CNN a few times, tearing a hole in a few people. So I get it. You all are kind of the cross braggers. You're humble within yourself. You let your partner do it. I like that. I like that. So I've just been around a little bit. That's all. Just closed mouth and open ears has led to.
I'm one of the biggest fans, and Tanja for years was very subdued and not wanting to be as public and expressive as she can. And I remember years ago we had this. When you first get married, you're in this struggle to see whose personality is going to take over or how the things are going to run. And a lot of times I think I was a little bit more confident early in my career than she was and some of the things she was doing. And I used to tell her, all you need to do is get out of your own way. And, once you figured that out, I think also the first time she got cancer, she started to get, I'm getting today, genes start to come out, and she stopped worrying about what people thought and what people would say. And then, she was able to express herself a little better. And then one of the things I used to tell her, what you have to say is valid as what everybody else has to say. But I think, once you start getting the education and get confidence in yourself, every degree you got more confident, every job you got more confident. Now it's hard to keep it running, but it is what it is.
So I'm glad you all have shared that. And I was going to wait to get into that, but hey, let's just dive into the deep end of things. Ms. Tanja, from everyone that I have talked to that has known you for years, you changed when going through what most people would see as a very traumatic experience. Did that change your relationship at all?
I don't think it's necessary to change my relationship. It changed me. And it gave me the insight that a lot of times we don't speak up. And then two, when I was first diagnosed, I saw cancer as a death sentence because I did not know anyone with breast cancer. And the one person that I did know, her sister died. So it was one of those experiences that no one should ever go through. And then you also realize that, okay, I'm going through this, but how can I see this as a teaching moment? And I took it as a teaching moment. I've never fell on the sword. I've never said, whoa, that is me. I just went through it, came head first, like a jacking up, that way. And I am very much of a solver. So I don't concentrate on the problem. I try to find ways to solve it. And that was me going head first was my way, one of solving it, but then also helping other individuals as well. So yeah, did it change me? But it changed me in a positive way so that other individuals who was going through or have gone through, they know that too, they can get to the other side. And whatever that other side looks like.
Okay. And thank you for sharing that. Now, Phil, I want to get your perspective. So my first question to you was how long were you all married? And then how did Miss Tanja explain to you that she had breast cancer?
Well, it was an interesting day. We've been married 32 years. And we'll be 32 years in February 2022. But she had went to the doctors and saw some spots on her breast, and she really got them tested. So one day, they after they come to the hospital to talk about it. So I said, "Hey, you want me to go with?" And she said, "Oh no, it's not going to don't worry about it." Blah blah blah, and like she generally does downplay things, and she went off to itself and by herself, and then it was a big mistake. I think both of us realized the mistake what happened because for her, it told me when they said cancer, her brain stopped working, and she went into she didn't hear a bunch of information after that. And for me, when she got told she got cancer, I felt really horrible because I wasn't there when somebody told her she had this life-threatening illness. So since that time, we make sure that whenever there's critical medical things going on, not just with Tanja, not just with me, with Tyson, whomever, we are both there because Tanja and I are the same in a lot of ways, but we're different in a lot of ways. And the differences are she hears certain things that I don't hear, and I hear things that she doesn't. So if we're both there, she's going to hear the parts that I probably don't hear. I'm going to hear the parts that she's probably going to hear because I'm a technical person when it comes to understanding what doctors are saying, what's the problem, and what's the solution. And so I pay attention to that, those types of things. And like I said, we even, something you have to learn in marriage, everybody doesn't reach the same conclusion at the same time. I'm a quick thinker. And I won't say that I'm a better thinker, I'm smarter than my wife. I just reach things a little bit differently than she does. But it is, but again, I have a tendency to skip over the details because I get to the bottom line. Skip over the details to get to the bottom line. And when I was younger, I was impatient with her. Like, man, it's taking too long to figure something out, blah, blah, blah. Now I learned to wait for her to get to the finish line because when she comes to the finish line, she generally got a bag of books that I didn't figure out that she brought with her, taking her time to write her notes. And this lady here, a prolific note taker in the history of the work. I'm telling you, she can write notes in different directions on paper, and it's her thing. But that's her way of processing information. And so we now know after 32 years that, I don't do much of anything without at least bouncing it off her. And a lot of times she'll throw it off and kind of piss me off sometimes. Because what I want her to do is to think about it so that when I come back later and answer a question, this, that, what do you think? So, it's I've come to rely on her process of taking in information, to help me in my deficiency, to run through things to get to the finish line. I'm terrible at math because I never wanted to go through the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I wanted to go to 1 to 5. And you can't do it at math. Now, there's other areas of life that works where you skip the middle nonsense and get to the bottom line. But in a lot of different things, you have to go through that process and free to go through the process for another.
Well, we got that in common, Phil. So you all have arrived at this spot in your relationship where you understand each other and you know how to work together. I'm pretty sure it didn't start like that. So let's walk all the way back to the beginning of the relationship. You already talked about, hey, we had this traumatic experience. Obviously, you all have made it through, and you all are still very much in love. I've spent enough time with you all to know that I see the way you look at you when you walk away. But
So,
at the beginning, did you all have a plan in case something went wrong?
when you're young, you kind of think you're bulletproof. And so I would say we should have probably known something that we were going to have these unique little experiences, medical experiences when we first got married. She had to have an operation. And I was told by the doctor that she was going to be there by now and good to go. And an hour went by, hour and a half, 2 hours. Like, what's going on here? Finally, the doctor would come up and they tell me that they gave them the food and they were operating on her. Serious food would affect, the folks that have children, that kind of thing. It worked in the opposite, as a matter of fact. It put her reproductive overdrive, and we said she was so pregnant. But that should have right there should have been the first thing to tell us. Then our youngest son, she gets pregnant with our youngest son. 8 months in, she preeclamptic, blood pressure going through the roof. The other one of these situations I didn't, where she told me, "Oh, I don't worry about it. I got this. I'm gonna go to the doctor," and they ended up putting her in the hospital. They had to get to it 2 days later. Came about a month early. So these little medical things have been chasing us since the beginning of our marriage. That we really didn't pay attention to, but we should have. Now looking back, we've always had medical things occurring in our life. And for lack of a better, that seems to be our number one problem. A lot of other things we've kind of been able to work through and been successful at, but the medical things have continued to follow us throughout our relationship. From first son being born a month early, her having serious preeclampsia. Second child comes along, he's 4 months early, almost 4 months early, in the hospital for 4 months, and just a litany of medical problems. And then her trying with cancer, which is terrible. Me slipping from my ice out in front of my house and snapping my ankle in 90-degree direction. Hip replacements, all kind of things So we've had a litany of medical issues that have chased us a little bit. And that just seems to be how you have to put the finger on the one thing the Thompsons have had issues with.
So that's very interesting because a lot of times in relationships, there's always a topic that is just hard for people to really come together on, right? And, audience, let us know if yours is money, is it health, is it death, is it in-laws? For you two, was medical issues a conversation that you just didn't want to have? Or was it something that you just figured, hey, we're young, this is a once in a lifetime thing, this is nothing?
I think when you're young, you don't think about medical issues.
Mm.
But the other thing is that it wasn't really a necessity for us because I was active duty in the military. So one of the things about being active duty in the military, you didn't have to worry about that 73rd or that 2020 because the military paid for it. We've never had, let's say, a medical bill. With all the things that we talked about, Tyson having the living kidney transplant at 14, having another one here at age 21, me with breast cancer twice, hip with hip replacement. We have never, I think, out of all of that, to be perfectly honest, we may have paid $2,000. So it was never a need to have that conversation.
But put that in perspective, Tyson's medical bill was he went into the hospital for essentially 5 or 6 months, and when he was 14 and ended up getting a living kidney transplant. The medical bill was $2.7 million.
I don't know if my audio is working right.
2.7. So I think if you probably add up all the medical this family has been through, probably been close to $5 to $6 million.
Easily.
Now,
Never had any more of a bill totally. When I say totally, all of it, probably no more than $2,000.
that's interesting. So you all didn't have the 2.7 million in cash sitting around?
Not at that particular time. I had a lot of numbers that were pretty good. No, and that's a big problem for families outside of military, outside of healthcare. Healthcare is extremely important, and it's important for two people. It's important for this. I mean, our healthcare system is built for people who don't get sick, and then the really sick.
Mm.
If you go down, we all know the problem with trying to get a doctor to look at this, look at that. That's always the problem within all systems. But with the really sick, the military insurance was very, very good because we did not pay anything except for a minor per diem thing for hospital stay. And we have to now there's some changes to that system as we go. People start chipping away at our health benefits. And you used to have in the military, you had dental. Now we have to pay for dental, but we pay for it through her job. But we have to pay for it than we used to back in the day before they made the changes. And then now you see more co-pays because they extend you out into the condo, you have to pay co-pay. So it's not totally free, but you have to make co-payments and do things like that. But health issues have always been our major problem. We kind of, with money, look, early on, when we got married, we both 30. Tanja had hers, Bill had his. Tanja was a little bit more protected of hers than Bill was. And so I remember telling her one day, this is my stuff and my money and blah blah. I said in the divorce it all gets comes into the pound and divided up. So it's our money. It's our money.
So I tell you, I told them, he said, oh, we can get a joint account. But I don't think money mixed up with mine. It's changed. That has been changed.
We made some things that we've done. Look, we recently told her that she could take care of bills. We wanted to be that person, and I don't like paying people. So she takes care of the bill. So, I pump money into that system, and she handles all the bills except for the things that mine, like I have to pay for my car and all that stuff.
Which one?
All probably, because if I take something been married, I probably have had 18 cars, maybe 20. So I've gone through a few vehicles in my day. I had, when I was younger, I had a tendency to change them out about every 2.5, 3 years. So I was trading in pretty quickly. We had a friend that was in the Ford. She had the Ford, and we would always get her family from her. So it was just easy to trade one truck into another. Back then, I had big trucks, and I would trade one big truck into another big truck. And but you know, we take care of things in that way financially. We our minds are, times is looking for people that I am.
Mhm.
I am just, I don't like to spend money if I don't have to, but I don't spend money on other things. This one here, she tighter. Nobody gets money from her. I have a hard time. Well, wait a minute. The other day we went to the thing, and I was trying to get some money out of one of my envelopes, a B envelope that I know is family. She could pull up her envelope. I'm like, what's that? That's not She's tight. She thought I had to tell the joke.
That's natural. Yeah.
I had to tell the joke.
Now,
And so her son, we were having Taylor student, and he was talking about, everybody knows about site time, And
Right.
Taylor said, "Mom, you so tight with money. If I ask you for $30, so $20, what you need $10 for?" But being that started, we both had good savings. We had good savings discipline before we got married. We both had decent savings accounts. We both had bought a house. So she bought 2 houses, as a matter of fact. And so we had already kind of set up things, plan on how we did it. The most important thing that happened to us financially is that I ran back into Roger Goodchuck in 1985 at the Million Man March. And soon after that, after we convinced Tanja to take her money about the money markets and CD and put it into investment plan. I told Roger, I said, "That's on you, bro. You gotta go fight that battle by yourself. I can't help you." But once we got with Roger, and eventually got Nick, and he's been part of that plan too. It's been very easy for us to pick our propensity to save and turn that into an investment process that has started to really reward us as we've gotten older.
well, I appreciate that. Ms. Towns, you are known for being checks on checks on checks. I can't say that you're tight with the money, but everybody know you got a check coming in every other day. Now, we do know that you're going to create a check. I do know that much. Nothing wrong with that piece of paper. It feels good to get it in the mailbox. It feels great. Now, we've talked about some of the things that you all have fought your way back from. And before you all got on, one of the things I admire the most about you is that you all don't look nothing like what you've been through. Mm-hmm. And you all are just so positive, always smiling, always joking, having a good time. But more than anything, you have been successful in spite of. And that's not just getting through on the other side health-wise. You all do your thing when it comes to investments. So I appreciate the love that you showed to myself, Nick, and Roderick, as far as us being able to help. But you all are a huge part of that. How did you all continue to move forward mentally after those setbacks? And I know how hard it's been for each of you individually in those moments. How did you find your way, not just back to each other, but to say, we going to get together and we still going to kick some, you know what I mean, together? Like, what is that thing about your partner that brings you back to that?
So we never depart. We've always been on the same track. And we're on the same track. We know, I know Phil knows me. So I understand when he needs space, then he understands when I need space. And so when you have that mutual understanding and really respecting your partner's boundaries, even when things get tough, you know it's always going to be that togetherness. And our mantra was always us against everybody else, against the world. The world. So that means our kids, that means parents, that means outside entity. So it's always us against everybody else.
Got the dog and cat.
The dog and cat,
It's been
How is Captain, by the way?
down in
bark it down. So, we never departed. We never had those where someone feels the other one can have to be given all in all. Because we know that it's never going to be 50-50. Sometimes I'm 90-10 and vice versa. So understand that marriage is a relationship, and a relationship, especially you got two hard chargers, you got two professionals, you got two individuals that's out there making it on their own as individuals. When you bring that type of force together, now you have even a larger and a bigger impact. And the thing is, there's nothing that anyone can do to split that up. There's nothing that someone's going to say that that's about me that he's not going to check, and vice versa. So people already know. Don't come to Phil and Tanja with a whole bunch of mess. Don't come to Tanja and Phil about some gossip about something. So people already know. So when you have that force around you that people know don't come over here, don't mess with this. It keeps up all that other trash. People want to bring it to.
I think it's happened before, and other thing is, I think I can pride ourselves in this. We've never had a knockdown burning operation. I mean, we've had some kickoffs and, mad, but I think we did a sign of anger. Because I kind of feel about God knows I love my parents, but it was very vocal, very a lot of noise. And always said, my father, again, is a great dude. He had some problems with alcohol. And, and I am a fan of alcohol. But I've always told my wife that I would never, if I ever came home and acted, way inappropriate because I was been drinking, I would stop drinking altogether. And I'm still drinking. So I feel like I made that commitment. But I just feel like, that we've never gotten to one stage. She would get mad at me and act like I was going to sleep somewhere else. And I'm like, oh no, sister, I'm sleeping right here in this cave. If you gotta get me, I'm gonna be right here. You're gonna go find me in the house. And you have to be right here. And that's kind of the way we kind of handle things. We've had disagreements and we've had really good disagreements, but we've never vocalized them to the point, especially with our kids, where they can hear us having this knockdown, drag out argument over something. Generally, with me, when I would get mad at her, I would say a whole lot of mean things, but they would be like in the garage on my way out the door, on my way waiting for her in my car. I would, how dare she think that she thinks she is, and she don't know who she must be, and blah blah blah. But it would be in my car on the way someplace, not in front of back to her, because I felt like we could be in that volatile situation. There was so many things working against us at different times in our lives that it did not fit for us to be in this adversarial situation. And early on, ever I married, there was, I felt that he was kind of, I was walking around like God gives you universe and not acting, not being as good of a husband, good as father as I could have been. It was all foreign to me. And I've been working for me and all for me for 30 before I didn't adjust to the wife. So now and now that she had her niece, her teacher that we raised. So now I got a wife and 2 kids, within a year and a half. And I'm like, there's something's going wrong in my life because I was out there field. I was the man, I was an emperor. Now I'm a peasant. So, it was some significant justice that had to go. And then I know her being married to me had to be the physical judgment of a lifetime. And I used to tell her, don't pay attention to too much what comes out my mouth. Because, I'm talking from John. Pay attention to what I do. Pay attention to where I'm at night. Pay attention to what I'm doing when something hits the fan. Do I show? Do I cover my hand? Do I do the things that need to do? And I think that's what people have to look at relationships. You have to pay attention to what people do, not what they say, because everybody does things differently. With Tanja, when she works, she throws up a lot of ducks. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's all this. And I was looking at my book. And I have a tendency to think things look kind of seamless and easy, although there's a lot of it's just the way my mind works. And so sometimes, especially in the marriage, she didn't think I was really working hard or putting in a whole lot of time for doing things. We just do things different. We just do things differently. And once you recognize that, that's Tanja's way to feel great. For instance, I'm fast to change in my mind. I never forget that we're getting ready to go on vacation to New York. We'll go to New York for vacation, and a big snowstorm hit on the eastern seaboard. And like that, I said, forget it, let's go to Florida. And she stood there looking at me like, what is wrong with you? We just can't. So let's go. And so she changed all the clothes out, and we went and had a great time. And then, later on, she started to see sometimes, you have to change the path. You can't keep running the same path, and so now, when I come up with these things, she knows I'm going to do things last minute. She didn't ask me to like, yeah, he's going to do, she didn't ask about playing with it. Let's find somewhere. You won't ask me about playing with tickets and all that, because she knows I'm going to do the last minute. She's just going to happen that way. She's not going to get me to do, something months ahead of time. I'm planning a vacation to do, and she knew I didn't want to go, so we put the plans all in place months ahead of time and track me. And then meet for months so that I wouldn't be fucking the system to get there. But if it was big, I'd have made that on a week ahead of time. And that's how we've done it. But that's how we roll. Yeah.
Well, it works. It works, and it's a joy to watch. Now, I know earlier you all talked about building that bubble around each other, where it's you all against the world. But I know how much you love your kids and your grandkids as well. So, kind of want to ask you in your conversations, because I've seen you all work. It really is y'all against the kids. I do know that is a real thing. But how do you all have these conversations where you talk about how to continue your legacy, how to make sure that, not just the young men that you all have raised well, but also, little Alea, my business partner. How do you all come together to talk about your plans for what you see as far as your contributions for their lives as well? Well, look, she cornered me. I bought a pizza, even though it was supposed to be from Wendy's. She said, let's open a Wendy's that sells pizza. Said, that sounds great. And
Tell Jasmine that Alea is a Chick-fil-A now.
oh, she want to work for Chick-fil-A?
She done gone over to Chick-fil-A.
She
went over to Chick, because remember she was picked up, right? She told, I was like, I was like, Chick-fil-A. Some Chick-fil-A.
She found the Lord in his chicken. What can we say?
There you go. The thing about the wealth and the, like Phil mentioned, it all started with meeting Roderick. And once we met Roderick, he set us on a path.
Exactly.
Soon after that, we met Nick. So One of the things that I truly like about both of them is that they listen and they hear. And because they have been in our lives for so long, we've been able to make adjustments. Because along with that, we meet with them every year. So they're like, okay, what are your plans moving forward? What is it that you want to do for, when we get to that age, what you want to get to with Tyson? And one of the things that we had to come to the realization that we talked about already, and that is our health issues. I.e. example, Tanja had breast cancer twice. So when it came time to, let's see, let's getting some more insurance, let's, see about building some more wealth, I could not get more insurance. So we ended up having, because we were thinking about Tyson. Tyson on the spectrum in a sense, so we wanted to make sure that he was going to have something once we pass. Because at the end of the day, we know that we're going to pass, right? We can't live forever. No one gets out of this world without dying, right? So what happened was we got an insurance policy that is based on when both of us die. So that Tyson will at least be able to have some money and be able to pay off this house. So by doing that and them listening to us every year, looking at what we already have in our portfolio looks like, now gives them the ability to give us advice and provide us different products. So when it came to the kids, it was already the grandchildren because we did the same thing for the kids as well. We had insurance policies, we had annuities for them as well, and we made sure that we had something that built cash down. So when the grandchildren, two granddaughters, now we're doing the same thing for them. And because the insurances have so changed so much now we're able to tailor it that it isn't something I have to pay on for the rest of my life. So they can now create products, and especially online, where they say you want to pay for 10 years and it's still gaining cash back. So those are the things that we would have been able to do because one, we trust them, they know us, and they ask the right questions. And also they take time to listen to us versus just trying to say, oh, this is what you need. They don't push things on us. And if they do, even in those conversations, because it's usually me having a conversation with them. And it can be an hour, it can be 2 hours, it can be over multiple days before we actually decide on something. So I like that they're patient with us, and more especially me, so that I can get a clear understanding of what it is that I'm purchasing, and that's something that I feel comfortable with, and it's something that is sustainable. Because what I see happen a lot of times is that people get these products, they pay on it for a year or so, and then they just let it go. But we have always, because we've had those conversations, every product that we have decided on, we have kept them for the long term.
Also what they did for us is they looked at where we were in life. So 20 years ago, we were at a different stage. 10 years ago, we were at a different stage. So what they were looking at for me was the ability to cover my income over a period of time. So I got a very large term life insurance policy that carried for 10 to 15 years, whatever the time frame was. Now, when I remember when I first got the policy, I was like, I need to talk to somebody because now I'm working more days than a lot. So, somebody got to talk to me all here. Something's actually going to happen. If it's a big policy, I was looking like, what are y'all doing to me here? But needless to say, the strategy was perfect because if something didn't happen to me at that time, all this projected income that I would have made, the term would have covered pretty much that income, and then Tanja and the group would have been able to live with the same lifestyle they've been living in the past. Now that term has been terminated, but since that time, our other policies have grown in cash value, and and our real estate has grown, so that now she would be in the same position if something happened to me. There would still be other insurance policies that I have, but our cash value has grown with these policies, and our cash value has grown in our annuities and investments headed, so that I could drop that big term, because to keep that term after 60 would have been a monumental amount of money, and I might as well go ahead and put that money into my set programs and my new programs, and let those continue to grow cash value. So you got to have people that are smart enough to understand where you are in life, because what you need at 40 is different than what you need at 60. Yeah. Because technically you should have 20 years of economic growth under that, and then by the time you turn 60. So that big term policy that you had at 40 to cover life for the rest of your life after 40, now after 60, we've got other products and things that have picked up that cash value. That's the kind of thing that they talk that if you need having a good, I'm giving you a quote, having a good financial planner, management, so manager is important, because the things you do, they have to tailor things for what your life is, what your life expectancy, and the potential attitude of what could potentially happen to make sure you cover financially. You know, and all that's worked out very well for us. And you know, we just feel like we've been blessed in that area. But it's been smart planning on our side too, because with our real estate, you know, we've done some smart things with our real estate, and we're moving the property from a lower value area, say in Maryland, to buy property in Florida and other places. And now we've got a good build up of cash and pay off all of our rental property. So now that all that's cash value or whatever. But we reached this conclusion in our 60s that we're gonna cash everything in, and we're gonna spend that cash, and
We're gonna have it. We're gonna flip the last check around.
our kids can have a residual and the life insurance, and all we have to go the cash money is gonna get spent. So if my kids are watching, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but Dad is still gonna fly first class, and I'm gonna enjoy myself and this Corvette race by another.
Thank you all so much for sharing that. Just want to clarify, y'all wasn't paid or arranged to say that in advance, right?
Oh, man.
So
I'm you guys' biggest fan, and I talk to people all the time and tell them. And I started the numerous seminars with Roderick and you come in and you do it too. And you know, I can't tell people how important it is to have a good financial planner or wealth planner involved. And you know, it's so important that it's just to be fundamental to have these aspects in place, not just for yourself, but for your families, and take that wealth and make it generational. So,
can I ask y'all an honest question? If the answer is no, I'm not going to be offended. Is a part of the reason that you all feel that we do a good job is because you know that if something were to happen to you, that we would sit down at that kitchen table with Tyson, Taylor, Alea, and the rest of your family and make sure that your wishes were carried out?
Absolutely.
first call.
Absolutely.
First call.
Yep.
First call to make sure that they're taken care of. It's like you know, Roger tells his kid, the first call you make is to Nick and Phil. You know, Nick and Phil, make sure I'm straight. And yeah.
You guys are awesome. There's no doubt in our mind or our kids' mind that if something happened to us, you guys would be on the next right out.
Absolutely. For those who have not yet had the opportunity to work with us or a wealth manager at all, what are some things that you all, and you all have, from your different walks of life, have dealt with all different kinds of people. What are some traits that you think that they should look for in a wealth manager? Besides just, hey, you work well with my family, I trust you. What are some other things that help you to feel more confident? Because Ms. Tanja, like you said, initially you weren't really trying to hear that. You were like, hey, I'm sticking with the CDs. What helped you to take that leap of faith?
You know, after a period of time, you learn people, and because one knows that Roderick has such a high moral value, and that we both all served in the military together. And yet every time he always showed up, he was always answering my call. That was one of the number one things. Because a lot of times it's based on recommendation. People will, if you can get a recommendation from someone, that goes a whole lot. That's like opening up the door. So that makes it also easier to have that confidence in Nick. And it also enables us to have that confidence in you as well, because knowing that Roger was not going to just have anybody on his team. So having that trusting him and trusting him to know what he's doing, trusting him that he's going to get that additional education to make sure that he is giving his clients the best advice that they need at that particular time.
Something else, so I take with you. I know you'll be number one because you got a dream, right?
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Being a single man in Chicago, you have a whole lot of, I know what you had. So, why? Yeah. They don't know. I know the deal. I know the deal. You had all your teeth. You had $3 in your pocket. And you are the debonair, but I'm a debonair than I am. So I know that part of it. But what I also know is that you had to survive making this. A lot of people don't come on. You have survived making this. So you obviously have something going for you, because I know those two characters are not.
They hard on nail.
They hard on nail.
They don't play.
So, I don't know what you're talking about.
That right there makes me know that you are a very good dude. But all kidding aside, man, this is important stuff for not just we're kind of hostels of financial planning. This is important for us, the community, as a people, that we have got to start taking care of our finances. African Americans spend gobs of money on all manner of things. We are the top consumers in this country, and we need to become owners and investors, and use our money to create wealth, not just give our money to other people so they can get wealth. And so, we're apostles of this. I watch closely with working with Roger. I watch North American Life go down. The oldest black insurance company in this country, go number two, because of a lot of different factors. But one was they were running like a chitlin shop. And let's just be honest with you. When people that were running like a chitlin shop. And so we have got to do better, be better, and smarter in that regard. But this is important. I've had friends of mine tell me, "Oh, I'm leaving messages." And I'm just astounded. Like, you got kids, you got grandkids. You can do things for people with, when you die, additional funding being there for your family, and it's so much as African Americans lost to death and not planning. I'm an attorney, and we lost millions of acres of land because people did not do the right thing upon death and have the property passed to people. And now you've got a piece of property where you've got, 35 people potentially own the property, and now it's essentially unmanageable to do anything with it. You see it all the time, and it's just, we have to teach our people to take care of business. You got to teach people how to do estate planning. You got to teach people how to do financial management. And you got to teach people how to do business properly, and and hire an accountant and make sure the books are right, so that when it comes time for the next PPP loan, You get the PPP loan, or you know, if you laugh if we work with me, like I pandemic, I worked with we work with black innocent churches, even with the White House, even with the Trump White House, the black people that were coming out of the Trump White House, we worked with them to try to get PPP loans for churches and all these. The books were all messed up, and they couldn't qualify and get these loans and get this money, and it doesn't make sense to give money away, and people couldn't get the money. So it's just horror story after horror story in every aspect of economics that African Americans come off either amateurish or not educated enough to be able to take advantage of opportunities and things like that. So that's important for us to do this, things like this, is advocate for, hey, this is important, people. We would not be where we are now had we not had good wealth management and financial planners. Yeah. And again, not that I'm bragging, but we got this, we got that, but we've done very well. And it's important that people understand that, and we get there by doing nothing over the last 30 years.
Very well said. Well, as we close out, I want to leave everyone that's listening with a piece of advice from each of you. What is one thing that they can do to stick to the plan?
Stick to the plan. Listen, make a plan. To make a plan. Get a financial planner and a wealth manager to keep you on the plan.
I'm gonna go dig a little deeper. Man, you better get the right life partner. You better get the right life partner. And that's good. Because no matter what somebody else can tell you, if your house is in disarray, if you can't go to your wife and have a conversation, and believe me, it's not the best of conversation. We have to have these conversations, what I call a running conversation, because we have this rule that neither one is the boss of me. So I can't be the boss of her, she can't be the boss of me. So we have to have this running conversation on things. We'll start on Monday with some words, and by Friday we might have a seat. So it's not easy. We just can't sit there and just do it. Because somebody's going to be like, all right, you try to tell me what to do, I'm getting out of here. But that's just not it. But you got to have the right partner that have the same plans. We both are from the Midwest. And people say, oh, that's the meaning of the day. I mean, a ton. Because people in the Midwest are different than people on the East Coast, on the West Coast, and the South. I'm not saying better, we're just different. And if you've got a person from the Midwest that understands the Midwestern values, which is kind of hard work, put your head down, don't be complaining, get things done. That's kind of the Midwestern way of doing things. And I watched my father do it, I watched my grandfather do it. These men would go into these factories and go into these businesses and work, come home and not complain and not doing that enough homes with them. That's very important, and that's what we learned. So, you've got to have the right partner. And somebody's looking out for me. And when he brought this lady in, first look at her, I was like, oh, heck no. He said, I can't afford you. My daddy always wanted about the younger women. He said, yeah, but it's big time. But I know, somebody brought me a gym, and and like any gym, you have to work it. And she worked on me, and I worked on her. But if you don't have the right partner, none of it works. So I just think, and if you don't have the right partner, still get a good financial person that can help you get yourself together. But you got to have the right partner, because we made some mistakes. We made lots of mistakes. But we just said, hey, okay, that was a mistake. Let's keep going. Yeah. And we've been able to recover from that. And
Thank you so much for that. Once again, I'm happy to have you all here. It's always a pleasure talking to the both of you. I'm pretty sure we're going to talk offline, so I'll be seeing you soon. But thank you all for sharing this with the crowd. If you all have any questions, feel free to hit them up individually. Let them know about your businesses as well.
So, one, I have a nonprofit, the Breast Cancer Movement Foundation, where I do a lot of community events relative to women of color dealing with breast cancer. I'm also an author, and my book is called What to Expect When You Wasn't Expecting Breast Cancer. So you can hit me up personally with that. Also, my other business is Transformational Resolution Work, where I transform lives in teaching, mentoring women of color, reference to coaching, right? Coaching, leadership, level up coaching. And I think we will get more this upcoming 2025 than we've ever had in the past.
Thank you for that.
Also, she is she's one of the best TEDx coaches, as you already know, like I said. So if you were thinking about doing TEDx, hire her so she will make your TEDx memorable, get posted, people will remember. So she is behind. Memory, it's behind.
Wait, so let's break that down. I know we're supposed to be wrapping up, but let's take a moment on that. So you mean to tell me if I'm someone who wants to be a TEDx speaker, I can hire someone to help to curate and make it a successful event and help me to get distribution and exposure?
Absolutely.
And they're on this call? Oh, good to know. Good to know. Oh, she has a TEDx license to do this. Oh,
You have to have a license to do it, yes.
and you have one.
Yes.
All right, I just want to make that clear for our listeners. All right, Dollar Bill, how can they get in touch with you?
You know, most post offices have my pictures of around that one area, but my company, I'm a private attorney, 4 times, that's why I'm 4 places. I have a legal business consulting business, Diverse Engagement LLC. I work a little bit coaching on campus, do campus equity consultants. I also have a political action competitive advantage, and our goal is to help on Black women and men. And if there's anybody else that's going to seeking political office, we're trying to empower candidates and people to run for office. So that's a competitive advantage to us. I'm big on Black confidence. I've got probably 60 I would have been a job with that. But I'm big on Black power, but I'm big on doing it the right way. And too many times we don't want to do it the right way. Projects I'm working on, we just got our second Lincoln Memorial here in Loudoun County, Virginia. We're going to put a memorial where a young man got lynched over 100 plus years ago. We got one more to go with the county, and I'm working with legislature to introduce a bill to identify all 90 or so sites where people were lynched in this Commonwealth of Virginia had memorials. We've got Black history matters. We've got to remember our history. We've got to understand our history. He fails to understand his history, fails to follow. So you have to do this because I'm very active in the community, still doing my work with the NAACP and civil rights. And it's important that I know Roger laughs at me a lot of times, like, man, you do too much free work, but I've been blessed. I've been blessed with, I was able to get education early. I was able to go to the military and with my career going. I was able to marry this woman. And so I've been blessed in a lot of ways. So sometimes you have to give back to the community, and that's been my thing through my civil rights and advocacy work.
Thank you both for everything that you do and that you've done in the past and that you're going to do in the future. And so,
and that money.
Oh, you know it. Now you do the free work. I don't do that no more.
But they got 1,000 work hours that do that.
Oh, you talking about NLYON?
Yeah, they got that. Yes, sir. So, gotta work hard, got some investment going. Hire me so I can get to do that.
All right, we're gonna work on that. All right. Well, thank you all so much for your time. It's always a pleasure and a blessing. We'll see you next time on Modern Matrimony.
All right, peace out.